The story begins with Uatu, also known as the Watcher, who claims that time, space, and reality flow more than a linear path. He explains that it's a prism of endless possibilities where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities, creating alternate worlds from the one we know. Uatu explains that humanity always seems eager, willing to face the impossible and yet blind to look at the bigger picture. Within 1 week, 3 strangers and separate stories unfold. A genius who battled his demons inside and out, the world meeting the monster hiding inside the man, and a godly prince who fell to earth. The Watcher explains that where humans see chaos, he sees the crucible that would transform this collection of individuals into a team of heroes. At least, that's how things played out in one universe. Director Nick Fury is on his way to meet Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, with Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow. Fury explains that there was an idea to bring about a group of remarkable people to see if they could become something more. Natasha claims she understands what's at stake, but worries why they have to rely on the future of the Avengers initiative on a loose cannon like Tony Stark, who has a problematic reputation for doing whatever he wants. Fury explains that Tony may be eccentric, but he's got potential. When it seemed to Natasha was not buying into Fury's plans, he sarcastically commented on how he recruited a Russian assassin to join his American covert ops team. Tony immediately refused Fury's offer to join him. Fury sarcastically commented that Tony seemed to do everything himself and wondered how it worked for him while pointing to a stria on his neck, suggesting his worsening condition from the palladium leaching arc reactor. Out of nowhere, Natasha slowly approaches behind him and injects him with a syringe. Fury explains that he just injected him with lithium dioxide, to which Natasha says that although it's not a cure for his disease, it will help slow down the poisoning and abate the symptoms. Suddenly, Tony convulses and falls to the ground, to which Natasha claims he's died. After the surprising death of Tony Stark, Natasha is escorted back to headquarters in cuffs. Fury talks with Natasha before she is shipped off. She explains that she didn't do it, which Fury claims to know, but unfortunately S.H.I.E.L.D. has protocols they need to uphold. Natasha claims that these cuffs won't hold her, which Fury is counting on. He explains he wanted someone from the outside like her to find out who was inside S.H.I.E.L.D. that compromised Tony's antidote. Natasha wonders if he's sure about taking a risk on her, but Fury reassures her that it is his safest bet. The armed guards around her make no sound as she was being taken away. She tries to distract them, wondering why they seemed too serious, but when they didn't respond, she quickly handed them her cuff and knocked them out despite outnumbering her 6-1. When the guys at the front noticed a ruckus, they stopped the truck only to find the armed guards unconscious and the Black Widow missing. Meanwhile, Agent Coulson found the elusive Mjolnir in the desert in Puente Antiguo, New Mexico. Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, explains to Fury that the artifact is extremely powerful and not from around here. When they heard a thunderstorm, Fury worries it was ominous, to which Clint claims to have seen it happening all night. They tried to lift the hammer, but no one could do it. Fury wonders that when something this powerful goes missing, someone always comes looking, which he hopes is an ally. Suddenly, a mysterious man later revealed to be Thor Odin's son sneaks in and knocks out the guards patrolling the area. Agent Coulson explains that they have a perimeter breach after finding multiple agents are down. Fury orders Clint to check from above, to which he perched on scaffolding to get a better view of the area. Clint claims the intruder is making a move on the hammer and asks Fury for a kill order. Fury asks him to stand down to see what happens next. As the intruder was about to grab the hammer, an arrow flies out and hits the intruder right in the heart. Fury is outraged at Clint as he specifically asks him to stand down, but Clint explains that it isn't him. Soldiers quickly surrounded him and took him into custody. Clint is taken into holding where he's dumbfounded over what happened. He's confused about what happened as he claims to have never slipped or misfired. Fury tells Coulson that their intruder Thor is dead. Based on the blood samples they got from him, it appears that the intruder was almost 1,000 years old and not of this world. Including Tony's death, Coulson claims it's alarming to have 2 high-value S.H.I.E.L.D. targets killed by their agents within 24 hours. When Fury went to check on Clint, He wasn't responding and was seemingly dead. Coulson explains that they're running a tox screen to see if a cyanide capsule caused Clint's death. Fury claims that Clint has a family, and if he were going to go, it wouldn't be willingly. Coulson wondered if he was suggesting that he was murdered, which Fury suspects is the same person who killed Tony. Coulson explains that Clint was in a locked cell under observation and that there were no signs of a struggle or an entry wound. That said, Coulson claims there's no connection to the deaths, but Fury insists there is. In Culver University, Virginia, Natasha seeks out Betty Ross, who shows indifference towards S.H.I.E.L.D. Natasha claims that he is not here looking for Bruce Banner. She explains that Tony Stark was murdered by her, or at least that's what someone's trying to make it look like. Betty wondered why come to her, so Natasha explains that she's known to be an expert in the tactical applications of cellular biology and that she needs to keep it under the radar. Upon closer inspection of the syringe, Betty claims the injector was clean and there were no traces of lethal pathogens. The antidote didn't even make it out of the syringe. She claims a tiny projectile was fired from the needle. When Natasha suspects it's nanotech, she suddenly receives a call from Fury. Fury informs her that Clint is dead and suspects his death is connected to Tony's. He explains that their killer is probably going after candidates of the Avengers initiative. Given the circumstances, she and Bruce Banner are the only people on the list. Fury orders her to find Banner, which she claims to have already found, given the suspicious hat suggesting that Banner is hiding in Betty's lab. When Natasha tries to open the cabinet, Banner willingly stepped out of the cabinet and Natasha claimed they needed to leave. Coulson returns to base after a quick coffee run when a massive energy surge is suddenly detected nearby. Coulson suspects it's a meteorological phenomenon, but when he looks closer, he sees an enormous army ready to assault them. Fury immediately went out to greet them with his own army. Turns out Loki has gathered an Asgardian army to avenge the death of his brother Thor Odinson. He claims he is Asgard's crown prince and the rightful heir of Jotunheim. While Loki was doing his introductions, Natasha rudely interrupted him when she called Fury. She explains that Director Ross and the entire US Army have come to greet them. Fury orders her to handle it as he has troubles of his own. When Fury doesn't intend to stand down, Loki pulls out the Tesseract, which houses the all-powerful Space Infinity Stone. Fury convinces Sif and Loki to listen to him, claiming that declaring war on Earth will not bring back their dead prince. Fury explains that they are after the same energy and that the person who killed Thor is the same person who killed two of his people. He urges them to team up and work together while promising to deliver the person responsible. When Loki demands he surrender the person responsible, Fury asks to give him time. With that said, Loki agrees to his terms and expects Fury to deliver his brother's killer by sunrise, or he will reduce Earth to ash and ice. While Natasha tries negotiating with Director Ross, a sniper shoots Banner in the shoulder. Although Banner survived the shot, he cautions Natasha to escape as he transforms into the Hulk. Having turned into the Hulk, he quickly charges at the army, rampaging and destroying everything in sight. Despite the horrific presence, Director Ross confronts Hulk head-on. Betty runs out to stop his father, but Natasha stops her before she gets caught in the fighting. Out of nowhere, Hulk's body suddenly swells up and explodes, much to Ross's horror and distraught. Natasha is covertly investigating the Avengers Initiative files at a public library in Manassas, Virginia. She asks Coulson's help as her access has been revoked, given that she's a fugitive now. While reviewing the files, Natasha finds a discrepancy where a woman declared dead 2 years ago accessed the database. When she finally figured it out, Natasha quickly called Fury, but an invisible assailant suddenly attacked her. She tries to fend it off, but cannot fight something she can't see. Before she was dragged to her doom, Natasha told Fury in a voicemail that it was all about hope. Contemplating what to do next at a diner, Fury goes over the clues left behind by Natasha. Coulson reminds Fury that they only have 4 hours left to meet Loki's deadline. He then informs Fury that the last remaining person on the list is Director Fury himself, but Fury claims another one is left. Fury left the diner opening the glove compartment to reveal a beeper, and finally understood what Natasha meant in her last message. Fury then drives off into the distance where he meets an armored man and demands to meet with his boss. He later finds himself in San Francisco, California, in front of Hope Van Dyne's grave. Hank Pym later shows up and berates Fury for standing in her grave, blaming S.H.I.E.L.D. for her death. Fury explains Agent Hope Van died on a mission outside Odessa, Ukraine. Hank claims that S.H.I.E.L.D. exploited her longing for her mother by filling her head with protecting humanity and saving the world, as her mother died. Fury is furious at Hank, who took it upon himself to kill others in his quest for vengeance. When words were not enough, they took it upon themselves to take it into a fist fight. But what Hank didn't realize was Fury was a step ahead of him and beat him in a fist fight. Hank is suddenly surrounded by illusions of Fury, later revealed to be Loki's magic. Having admitted to killing Thor, Fury surrenders Hank to Loki as promised. With the problem resolved, Loki suddenly claims he plans on extending his stay on Earth. The next day at the United Nations in New York City, Loki stands before everyone declaring that the nations of Earth have put aside their differences and united under his command. He explains that it's the unspoken truth that humans crave subjugation and that they were made to be ruled. Meanwhile, Fury and Coulson mourn the loss of their heroes. Fury explains that the Avengers were always meant to be more than a team. They're supposed to be an idea, the affirmation of humanity's need to believe that in their darkest hour, they would find heroes. Fury goes into an abandoned bunker to reveal Captain America's shield and welcomes the return of Captain Marvel, suggesting a new set of heroes to form the Avengers. The end. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon to be notified about our latest videos. We'll see you next time.